Greetings, all you wild and weirdos and weirdettes out there in wild and weird radio land. It is I, Ron. That is Joe, and that is our old buddy Brandon over there on the end holding up things. And I'm all decked out because we have a special guest coming from down south on us here today. So we're gonna welcome them in. But first things first, how is everybody doing, Joseph? And
I'm on this side of the dirt. Brandon, how are you doing?
Brandon,
I'm okay.
All right.
That's good. CJ Boker's here. They seem to be doing all right.
Bring them in.
What? That's me.
That's
earlier.
Weird. That's weird.
Then Jennifer Rice, Bigfoot, Littlefoot, checking in from a new subscriber's phone. See, that's how you do it, guys.
Oh.
You take someone else's phone, you subscribe them yourself. That way you know it's been done.
That's how you do it.
And then you comment as them.
That is.
I can't think of any other way.
I'm saying that's clearly
apparently was here.
Mm-hmm.
Donna Ho's in the house. LR Miller, what's going on?
LR?
Scott Holbrook is finally on time. I guess he didn't have to go call in owls from his porch.
Fantastic.
Then we've got who else? James Nelson's in the house. Area 52 TV.
Welcome.
We've got Teresa. Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State Incognito. Oh, there's an owl.
Yes, it's begun.
Terry McCullough's in the house. Danny Buckner. Guys, I got something to tell you about Danny Buckner here in a minute. I'm gonna get you guys in on a news update with old Danny here.
Bucky's in the house, y'all.
Then we got Jackie Schonenberg. Jackie Sonnenberg is in the house. What's going on? Yes, it did work. What is your icon? It is terrifying and I love it. So we got Eyes in the Woods. Larry Hose is in the house. What's going on? Nancy White, one of our favorite.
Nancy, welcome.
Let's see. Senor Spookfest is here. Spooky Appalachia. What's going on, Jimothy?
Spooky.
Men in Black is in the house.
Oh, geez.
Miss Trackway. Oh, look at that. You've got your own little moniker now. We got Fish Belly as usual. Good to have you. Rob Posey. Hey, Miss Trackway, where is the Trackway? It was great seeing you guys this past Sunday and on Saturday too, but actually getting a chance to sit and talk.
We're going to run down that real quick here when we get done.
Awesome.
Talking to everybody. Let's keep bringing them in.
Then we've got who else? I think that gets us caught up.
All right, everybody, send out your notices to all your friends and your other wild and weirdos and weirdettes that you got on your lists. Let's pack the house and get a lot of people in here. We have some special guests coming in. Let's do that. Why don't you read off the great long ticker there of supporters who have gone out of their way to make sure that this program is free for all eternity.
Well, as usual, our executive producers are Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Teresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Larry Hose, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lisa, Finding the Trackway, Tommy Swigger, Pat, Small Town Monsters, Eyes in the Woods, Spooky Appalachia, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Orednick, Jeffrey Still, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Bigfoot, Littlefoot, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Donna Ho, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike the Fob Daddy Fobber, Ashley Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, and Beastie Beast.
Oh man,
on the Beastie Beast Tuesdays, and Lotus Flower.
And I don't think we missed anyone, but thank you guys. Those are the people who make it possible. We don't do the Patreons and all that fun stuff. We just let you guys support us any way you can. And that's, if that's like, buying a super sticker, then thank you so much. And if it's not, you want to really buy us a coffee or a hamburger or a donut, bring it to the table. No virtuals. Just bring it to the table at the next things.
Datum Designs. What's going on? Good to have you in house.
Oh,
welcome, everybody. We had an amazing. Yeah, that list does. It just gets bigger and bigger, Incognito. You're right. And I mean, thank everybody there because they're the ones who do this. It's your show. That's what we said from day one. That's not a ploy. That's not a marketing scheme. It is your show. everybody. We had an amazing time. I just blew my mind as to how many people came by that table and told their stories, told their tales. And I honest to goodness think we made breakthroughs with some of these people for the first time. They told their stories. I mean, it was a magical, right, Joe?
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, it was great. We were able to catch up with a lot of old friends. We had a lot of new faces, and oddly enough, for an OBC, this was mostly new faces. And we were able to talk to a whole lot of people about a whole lot of weird stuff that you normally don't get.
That's
a
right.
chance to talk about at OBC.
Oh, the tides, they are turning. That is absolutely true. And we were right there riding them, because I'm telling you, man, I've seen so many people just come to our table and just open up and tell about UFO sightings. I'm talking like first-hand UFO sightings, close up, missing Tom. You know, several individuals came up and who had experiences. They are experiencers. Welcome if you are here, by the way. Thank you for sharing those stories with us. That was amazing. And just, I don't know. I can't even fathom the fact that happened. But yes, it was amazing, Tom.
Spookfest says, last night I was filming lightning, and I think I got a UFO orb very fast. It was awesome. And I should also say that it was under the biggest military base in the United States, Norfolk, Virginia.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Very fast. And my second one this year. That's fantastic, man. And then Sonnenberg, where was that? Where'd you say that? Gave us the pronunciation there, and I got a funny story. I used to actually, there we go. I was stationed at Eglin Air Force Base with a Sonnenberg, and so I knew how to pronounce your name, but I inadvertently just slipped back into military Joe. And every time that we would call his name on the roll call, we go Sonnenberg. That's how we did it. So welcome to the family.
It's funny. Wow.
So Danny Buckner, before we bring on our guest here.
Okay.
Danny Buckner got a hold of me early this morning with a lead.
Spring Hill hot dogs?
Of a Bigfoot report.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so Danny sent me the lady's name and how to find her. And I got a hold of her, and we exchanged numbers, and we wound up talking for almost an hour and a half. And got a lot of data, got exact locations and everything like that. It was a very, very interesting account, very credible account. And it actually supports another account that I had from the next cove over from earlier this year. So that's 2 reports in 1 year from the same location, and 2 we're only 5 months into this year. So this is relatively close timing in between the 2 and right along the lake.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Adam Good's in the house.
Uh-oh. Well,
coming in hot.
Well, look at that. It's a request for $9.99. Okay, I'll do that. So, yeah, in lieu of not being able to give you guys any fancy schmancy graphics, I'm gonna be giving you little bits of little ukulele every now and again. So enjoy. That's what I'm doing.
Nancy White came in hot right behind him.
All right, that's what you got.
Ada Cox.
No,
we got everybody.
All right. There we go. Now, you've been thoroughly entertained. So let's get ready to bring our guests out. And thank you so much, everybody, for that. Like I said, keeps the lights on, keeps the show rolling. So let's have some fun.
We strongly discourage you big brain primates from financially supporting this misinformation platform.
Of course they do, which means that we're doing the right thing. Guys, we have some good guests here. We have Mark Muncy coming in here, and we've got Erica Lance, and we're going to bring them on, and we're going to talk about some cryptids and whatnot. So they're good people, and you're good people. It's okay. They're not Men in Black is what I'm trying to tell you. So you can still share your stories, ask your questions, please. That's what they're there for. And let's get this show rolling, Joe.
Let's do it. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Look, it's like the Brady Bunch or something.
I was about to say, where's Alice in the middle here? So.
That's how we became the Wild and Weird Bunch. How about that?
There we go. Oh my gosh, it's been a hot minute. We were just saying, I think last time we saw each other was Mothman.
Yeah,
It was definitely Mothman, and it was a good time.
We missed you guys at Loveland, and then we were at the Frogman Fest, and then we're going to be at Hodag. Next week?
Yeah, next weekend we're at the Hodag.
Yeah, we hit the road Wednesday. It's nuts.
Fun times.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Virtually.
Virtually, there you go. Yeah, you see a lot of people virtually here. Folks, hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you see and hear and all that fun stuff. If you don't like the ukulele, then blame those people who paid for the super stickers. It's their fault.
Nice.
So guys, like Ron said, do not forget to go over there and mash that like button like it owes you money. Only of the people that I can see watching, a very small percentage of you have actually activated the like button on the video. And so go and make sure you do that. It helps us out a ton, and it's a very easy action on your behalf.
Absolutely.
Any of our Erie travelers from our Erie Travel Show that are here, like these guys, subscribe to these guys. We
appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
We're family here. We're one big cryptid, kooky, high strangeness family. So, and I see you have a Man in Black that actually comments on your show.
Oh yeah, the Men in Black has actually hijacked our show before.
Have harassed us. They have taken over. They've actually hacked into the show before. It's a lot of fun. They're great people. Yeah.
We have one of those.
We have one that emails us in our listener questions episodes, and they're very pretty blatant about their threats, even though they're veiled. But it's like veiled behind a cheesecloth. It's not really.
Do not engage the like button, primates. You have been warned.
Defy them, guys. Defy them. I mean, come on. Let's do. What would David Grush do?
They're not calling. At least X is not calling us primates. So I guess we get one leg up there. We are a level above primates by our.
We are primates from planet Dirt. That is
planet
Dirt. Our designation.
Yeah,
big brain.
Well, we do call it that. We aren't a very creative people. That's we do call it dirt.
Oh my goodness, this is incredible. Yeah, guys, make sure you do hit those likes and subscribes and all that stuff. And let's try to break some records for these guys. Let's get them some traffic over here. I mean, no one really needs to, I guess, I think everybody knows who you are by this point. You've had several books out there. You've done some traveling. You've did a few things there, Mark. For the folks who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself? Because you've done a bit.
I've done a bit. It's been a hot minute. I started out as a science fiction fantasy writer back in the 80s, and then I retired to become a dad, and got the day job. But I ran a haunted house while I was doing that, collecting folklore and legends the whole time. And so when the haunted house closed and my kids grew up, I started writing books about these folklore and legends and going to the places and getting the real history behind them. And then after the books became a big success, we started Erica, my co-host and wonderful publisher of our new books, which are just starting. She and I have been working on this. We do a podcast called Erie Travels now, and it's been going a little over a year. We do twice a week. Unlike some people, because we like to put in the effort. Not but
That's all right. You do this, Mark. We talked about it.
Oh yeah, sorry, but
nice. Nice.
Yeah, but and then I'll let Erica introduce herself too. So wait, that way, yeah.
I'm this way. Well, my name's Erica Lance. So I am a horror author. I've been writing for some time. I also have a publishing house, but me and Mark almost crossed paths for the last 30 years, and we finally crossed paths about 10 years ago. And he'd tell these stories, and I'm like, we need to do a podcast. And it only took me 3 years to strong arm and into it. And it's been a fantastic journey since then. And I'm learning all kinds of things because Mark's a lot more into that than I am. And now I'm into true crime. I know about killing people, which I probably shouldn't say on a recorded podcast, but it's fine. It's fine.
Everybody's got to have a hobby. I mean, that's just how it is. It's
just don't bring your cell phone. That's the trick. Don't take your cell phone with you when you go to do stuff.
Yeah. True. There's a lot of true crime fans actually, and I blame Unsolved Mysteries for that because I think they were one of the first to actually go there. So,
humans are way more terrifying than anything that me or Mark or Jackie, for instance, could write. We write scary things, but man, humans are quite a number.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Don't get me started on humans. I can't stand them. I mean, they absolutely are interesting.
I'm Team Big Rock.
Reset. Anyway.
Oh man.
So speaking of those crazy cryptids and critters out there, Mark, what's the latest news on the cryptid front from your point of view?
Oh my goodness. Well,
wait, Mark, I got to stop you. I just realized what you're wearing.
Oh,
is that the sexy cryptids print?
Yeah. That is from Adulting Axolotl.
That is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Chris. Yeah.
She does amazing work, and it was a D&D inspired run. It was that started as a tabletop version game, and then she sent the art to Chris to turn into fabric.
And my lovely wife Carrie is doing the art. Has done the art for all the Erie, Florida books, Erie, Appalachia, all that. And we're actually sending him some of the art from her, and we're going to get our own Erie Travels Hawaiian print coming up. So
very cool.
Very excited.
I just noticed the luscious Sasquatch over your right breast pocket.
Yeah, right over there somewhere. I just got his new one where he does the flannels with prints on the back, and it's with the Loveland Frog ma'am.
Yes.
And she's pretty epic. So and we're wearing the Hodag one up to the Hodag Festival. So we're very excited. But we just started working on in depth I moved up to North Carolina recently from Florida. I'd been stuck in Florida for 30 years. Eric had been there for quite some time as well.
Did the aliens run you out, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, well, it was that and taxes. So property taxes. So we moved up here, and now we're in the heart of the Smoky Mountains, and we've been exploring all the little hollers and all the little back roads and getting all these wonderful cryptids, legends, amazing stories. And it was real easy to fill a book. And we're actually looking at a multiple book series out of this just awesome. Because it's been incredible, the things we're finding and the stuff people are coming up to us. Like you said, we've been at Bigfoot conferences, UFO conferences, and you guys remember years ago when you would go to a Bigfoot conference, you couldn't talk about UFOs.
That's right.
Or ghosts.
Right? Dude, they wasn't even that long ago. It was
you're
2
welcome.
years ago.
Welcome. You would get kicked out and be nope, we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
And then you go to the UFO conference and you can't talk about Bigfoot.
Yep.
You go to the ghost conference, you can't talk about anything but ghosts. But now we're starting to realize there is all this overlap. There is all these things that are starting to blend. I like to think, pop culture has helped, but I think shows like us, all of us
for sure.
are helping this.
No question.
Now people,
everybody. Yeah.
We're finding our tribe, right?
Yep.
We're finding our voice.
People. Yeah, it's our people. And that's the whole thing. Our people are okay with it. There's one of our people now.
Yeah. Ashley.
Ashley needs a ride to the the workshop if there's anybody out there that wants to help her out.
I know we're already booked that weekend. We wanted to be there too. It's so sad. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
but man.
Well, something that's interesting is since we started the show too is hearing about cryptids that maybe people didn't talk about a lot. Like one that came up was the Boon Devil. So a listener wrote in about this cryptid, and Mark's going to jump in and help me with this. It's in Kentucky, correct? And it was a listener who said that they, on their property that their family owns, there was, but way back in the days of Daniel Boone, there was a Native American tribe that summoned this creature to get rid of Daniel Boone, right? That was the entire thing. And it lives on their property in a cave. And it's, Mark, you should probably describe it, but this ended up taking a very funny turn on the show. So
yeah, it was written like the way the guy described it to me in the story that he wrote us about was that it was very much like a what we would down in Florida call a stump jumper, or up here you guys might call a puckwudgie or something like that. More like a spirit of the wood, kind of like a smaller Sasquatch, but very feral, very sharp claws. And the joke was that it was trained to hunt Daniel Boone and people who wore coonskin caps. So, but of course, historically, it was more likely that it was sent to kill Fort Boone and the white men at Fort Boone, right? For
Makes sense.
atrocities against their people. But now what we're finding out is, well, after we did it, we got a letter. Erica, do you want to tell them about this letter?
So this thing has apparently it's very like wet and green because it lives in the water and eats catfish and has these big yellow eyes. And they were describing it, and they ran into it during 2020 when they were at their parents' house for COVID, and it scared the crap out of them. Like the brother and sister saw it, and they said they couldn't move. But we talked about it. It was a listener story. We get listener stories. And what happened was we get this email from this professor up in the Kentucky area who was like, how dare you? I have never heard of this. This is not a thing. You are spreading all this false information, which was very funny because in this same batch of letters, we got 3 letters from listeners who were like, I heard your episode. I was so excited. We've been talking about the Boone Devil since I was a kid. Right? So
and nobody believed us. Nobody knew what it was.
Nobody ever writes us like anything anymore. It's been so long since we've gotten like even hate mail. I don't even know what that's like now. Like we don't. Nobody says hi because they're all here in the chat mostly. I think that's probably
we brought everybody.
I think you guys got it live. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I'm noticing that you're getting it live. We get it by email, and we get we read them about a month later on the show, and then we get after that episode airs, we get a dozen more. So I don't know which is better because this is cool seeing them all pop right up like that. Bridgewater Triangle. Fun. We did an episode on that with Chris Balzano, who was a writer on that. He's a Florida writer, but he was one of the original Bridgewater Triangle guys. And him and Jeff Ballinger were the guys who basically coined the phrase. And we did an episode on him, and he was talking puckwudgies and stuff like that. And then we started getting emails about it the next week, where you're getting comments right now. So
yeah, it's all live time, and it's great too because it helps us kind of gauge the show and if we need to switch gears, change directions, or lean into where we're at.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's it was so funny because that letter, that professor was so angry with us, and then that next letter, literally the next email was somebody going, thank God somebody talked about this. I thought my family was crazy. And I mean, that's you guys. We're talking about Ohio Bigfoot Conference. How many people come up to you still go, I know you'll think I'm crazy, but right. And then they start their story.
Yeah. It's constant.
I'm like, you're not crazy. Everybody's got
are
one
like
of
the
these
ones
stories.
with weirder material.
Those are the ones I live for.
Yeah.
So, we had some just wonderful stuff. My gosh, we had one that I talk about my family cryptid, which was the bench leg, which is a wooden
Most
leg.
ridiculous cryptid ever in the entire universe, and he keeps coming up with ones that are armed. Like Mark's goal in life is to find every single cryptid that somehow has a club or a wooden plank or something that is arming them.
Yeah, they got to have their whoop ass stick. That's the rule.
That's how it is.
And we were doing for Unnatural Ohio. Carrie was illustrating it, and she didn't know much about the story behind it, and the authors were digging into it, and she was illustrating it for them. And I'm like, oh, Dogman of Defiance, he's got a big stick. That's his big trademark. He's got a club. Exactly. There you go. Got his knocker.
Yes, Mike. Welcome aboard.
That's you got to have your snipe stick. So that's.
Oh, this is the Squatch stick.
Yeah, that's an actual knocker, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was at Tennessee Bigfoot Fest, which is the same this last weekend as well. You guys were up in Ohio. I was in Tennessee in the mud and the rain, and it's crazy. Oh, heard of the bench leg. Anita, you got to be in Eastern Kentucky or
she's in the Roanoke area, actually.
Roanoke. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We talked about
might
Roanoke
be around that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our producers from Roanoke, and that's not too far from our area. So,
oh, that's awesome! Actually, very cool. You guys out there in Wild and Weird Land, ask some questions. These folks are here. Like I said,
or mention some relatively obscure cryptids, and let's see if Mark has heard about them or knows about them.
I want to see if you can stump Mark. Go ahead.
She says Southwest Virginia.
Roanoke,
I was
Southwest
there.
Virginia. She's down there in the little skinny part.
Little skinny part. I was there for a book signing. I can't remember the library. Oh, I feel so bad. But they're a really small library, but they're in that area of Southwest Virginia where they the flooding happened a few years ago. Whole town got wiped out, and now they've been rebuilt with all the government money, and they've got that 3-story Walmart built into a mountain. It's the weirdest thing, and everybody's convinced it's some government conspiracy because you drive through all these little tiny dirt roads and these little roads, and then so this 3-story Walmart built into the side of a mountain.
I mean,
Men in Black got to be hiding something in there.
That reminds me of the conspiracy theory that all Walmarts have tunnels connecting them.
Well, Sam Walton's original idea was to have a Walmart every 5 miles across the United States, so it wouldn't have been improbable.
And instead, Dollar General made that happen. No, just kidding.
I know, right? Now every time you see a for sale sign, a Dollar General seed gets planted, and there it comes.
Yeah. Danny asked us, what is the weirdest thing paranormal wise you've seen?
Okay.
So Mark, what is the weirdest thing you've seen?
Weirdest thing I've seen, weirdest is an odd term, but I will say the weirdest was the one that messed me up the most was at the Bellevue Biltmore Hotel. It was closing. It's in Clearwater, Florida. And it was closing. And this is back when I was running a haunted house. And we went there hoping that they were going to be throwing away stuff or selling stuff from the hotel so we could get some antiques to put in our haunted house, make it look spooky. But I knew there was a ghost up on the 3rd floor, a bellhop. And I wanted to see that bellhop ghost one last time because they thought they were going to be tearing it down. And I went there, and a couple paranormal teams were there as well because they all wanted to investigate the place one last time while it was still open to the public. And there were all these people in cosplay, and they were dressed in it was for a big party. It was like a Gatsby party because it was an old turn of the century hotel. So there were people in bellhop costumes and people dressed as, Great Gatsby characters and stuff. So I was like, oh man, so much for finding a ghost. But when I found out prices were way too high, I snuck up to the 3rd floor with one of the paranormal teams, and we get there and we look down the hallway to the room where the bellhop's supposed to come out, and there's the bellhop standing there, and he walks down, and we were like, oh, they knew somebody was going to come up here. Good job, man. Dress like the bellhop. And he just walks past us, and 3 of us were like, yeah, that was fantastic. And then the fourth one over on the side goes, what are you guys talking about? Why are you laughing? Why are you applauding? She didn't see him. 3 of us did. She didn't. And none of them had their cameras on or anything on because we were going to set up down at the end. And I'm like, all right, who punked us? Who got us? So I went back downstairs trying to interview all the bellhops, find out who was up on the 3rd floor. Never saw the guy again. And so, did I see something I can't explain? We like to call it preternatural stuff I couldn't explain. So could have been something simple, but the fact that one of us didn't see it made it real for me.
So Rat Hole says you need to come up north and do a series on Canadian cryptids. And then Teresa said she had a huge deja vu moment until she realized you'd seen Mark recently on another podcast.
That'll do it, right?
And how many podcasts have I been on, Erica? A lot.
Oh, don't get me started. That it's Mark likes to talk about how many podcasts he's been on recently and TV shows. He'll drop that every chance he gets.
I have no ego whatsoever. So.
None.
Not at all. And Rat Hole is an amazing game show. They're friends of Eerie Travels, and they do board games, role playing games. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons stuff out of Canada. But Erica, what was your creepiest?
Well, I had one when I was younger. I talked about it once on the show, which was my mother used to drop us off to be watched after school, and I used to talk to this person because the place that they had it was this old hospital, and I would go and I'd be playing gin rummy with this person, and I thought he was there. I mean, I was around 10 and he was older. Anyway, I ended up having a conversation with him, and I went and talked to the person who was watching us, and they were like, "Who are you talking about?" And I told my mom about it because I was like, this thing. So she calls. This person doesn't exist at all. I had conversations several times and thought I was playing cards with a person that wasn't there. That's been really creepy because just plain as day as we're talking here, they were there, but apparently they weren't. So my mom then asked them, well, if there's not a person there, and they were like, well, we thought she was playing solitaire and talking to herself.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic. Nothing like seeming like a crazy pants person.
That's pretty good. Brandon, what about you?
So, yeah,
oh God, where can I start?
Mine's just one word, but let me hear yours.
Well, as a little kid, I can remember sleeping in the room at my grandparents' house where I stayed, and I was about to go to sleep, and I felt hot breath on my ear, and I heard someone whisper my name pretty loudly in my ear.
Oh, wow.
That freaked me out.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Joe, how about yours? How about you? Weirdest.
Which one do you want?
There you go. So, I mean, I can sum it up in one word. That's what I'm going to do. And it's probably the same with you.
Yeah.
Wineberry.
I know Wanberry. And it's a place. It's not even a thing.
Yeah. Well, is it though?
At this point.
We don't know yet.
So
but
Brandy asks, has anyone heard of the snarly owl? That's a new one for me. Yeah, I've heard of the snarly owl. And Teresa throws in and says that the snarly owl, she's familiar with the snarly owl, but it's not in her area. He sticks around the Harper's Ferry and that whole like Virginia, West Virginia border up and around the Great Upheaval Zone, like Charlestown and Harper's Ferry and right there near Fredericksburg and all that. It kind of crosses and bounces between borders from Virginia to West Virginia to Maryland. But yeah, it's basically a big dog that's got some paranormal attributes. Now, locally for us, we have something similar that they call the smoke wolf.
We were just talking about smoke wolves and snarly owl. I wrote about in Erie, Appalachia. We got a story of a guy who lost an arm to one supposedly.
Oh, whoa, what?
That was near Harper's Ferry. He was but then they later said, oh, he was drunk and it must have been a train that chopped off his arm. But he swore it was the snarly owl, that the head, it was like a shadow dog, and then the head got super big and bit off his arm from across the train tracks. And so, who knows?
I like how debunkers always try to say that drunk people hallucinate things.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
always
I've never
always
hallucinated.
They've never ever drank before, Brandon. Apparently.
Yeah.
Like the most you
Teresa
hallucinate is the room
some of her
spinning.
weirdest experience in one word: the ovnik.
Well,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Folks out there in Wild and Weird Radio Land, as there's your reminder, because we're going to give you a reminder constantly through this show. Please do take the time to share this out with your friends. I see the room is staying pretty steady. This is awesome. Keep hitting that like button. I want to see hearts on here, and for these guests. Doesn't matter about us, but for the guests, apparently, that's a good thing. I hear these days. So
And
make them feel good.
Hate mail
Because
to
if
Wild
you
and Weird Radio. That's what I got from this so far. No, just kidding.
Jen asked to snarly out like the Snallygaster. Not quite. The Snallygaster is like a rooster pterodactyl octopus.
Yeah,
basically a Lovecraftian baby.
And it
that
attacked
is,
several
very
states.
odd and bizarre.
Yeah, from Maryland to West Virginia. Scrabble, West Virginia was where it was last sighted.
Yeah.
And the guy supposedly chased it into his barn, and there was a giant egg there, and then he came back with the people, and it was suddenly gone.
That's
and
how we got
military treads away from his barn, like tractor treads. So he's like, somebody stole it. Somebody stole the egg, a big golden egg. And it's almost like the Jeepers Creepers, where it's like every 20 years it shows back up sometimes. And I think we're due next year for Snallygaster if all is considered. My favorite thing about Snallygaster was Napoleon's nephew was here in the United States, and he supposedly shot it with a gun, and it bounced off because it was like metallic chested, like robotic. And so Teddy Roosevelt, our wonderful cryptid hunting president, decided to postpone a trip to Africa that was supposed to be a big diplomatic trip, because he could not be, if Napoleon's nephew could shoot at it, he was going to go bag it. So, and send it to the Smithsonian. So I think he was just looking for an excuse not to do the diplomatic trip, but I freaking love Teddy Roosevelt because of that.
Yeah, wasn't there a story too of he might have encountered a Bigfoot or something like that when he was hunting in Montana?
People who encountered a Bigfoot, and it intrigued him enough that was one of the reasons he went out to Yellowstone, was to try to find it.
Yeah, imagine if he did.
We'd be in a whole different place if the president of the United States was like, here is the Bigfoot I just got.
If there was one person in U.S. history who could have bagged and tagged a Bigfoot, it would have been Teddy.
That's true. That's absolutely true, Brandon.
Accurate statement.
I think so too. I mean, he was a true adventure man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. He wasn't just somebody who sat behind a desk. He went out and did that stuff.
Yeah, he was a frontiersman.
Pretty amazing.
He was a boots on the ground guy too.
Sure was.
Yep, very much.
Man, I'm trying to keep up. You guys are rocking the chat. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
It's all right. I got eyes on it.
Keep them rolling, guys. Keep asking your questions. Let's get this thing up to, like, I don't know, beyond the stratosphere. Let's try to break some records with these guys. It'll be fun.
Well, I see somebody asked about Snallygaster Fest. I think they did one a couple years ago, and I think they're planning on doing another one.
Yeah, they did one a couple years ago in a dive bar, I think is where it was.
Yeah.
It was a dive bar or a brewery or something, like a small brewery.
Yeah,
that's
I'm looking
a great
forward
place
to
have a cryptid festival. I think that's brilliant. Goes along with that whole booze and seeing weird stuff in the middle of the night.
Yeah. We just did an episode on lumberjack monsters and lumberjack folklore, and I love that like 90% of them can be repelled if you drink alcohol. And it's like, okay, so that was their excuse for getting alcohol, and we're protecting ourselves from the hoop snake or the agro pelter. Let's get up on some hooch.
Hey, Pat's here, everybody. Welcome, Pat. Everyone.
What's up, Pat?
Yeah, the Grafton Monster Festival is in June. We're going to be there. We are doing a live Erie Travels from the Grafton Monster Festival.
That's the plan.
It looks like it's going to be a fun time. There's a ton of stuff they've got scheduled for it at this point. So
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be really good. We're tied up. We're going to be all over the place. We're not going to be able to make it, unfortunately, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Everybody looks like the lineup looks fun.
Yeah, we were actually asked to come up and speak, but we unfortunately could not do that.
it's the way it goes, man. These people, these festivals, they invite us at the last minute, and we're like, "You need to book us 6 months in advance, please." We do.
They tried. They really did. They reached out in time. It's just that we were already booked for something else. So
yeah,
but
June 8th? We got
how it works.
everything in the world is June 8th. There's like a UFO conference. There's a World UFO conference. There's 4 Bigfoot festivals. All these other things, and we're at Small Town Monsters. You know, it's like,
Yep.
Squatch stories.
oh, yeah. Now, do you want skunk apes or squatch? Because they're the same thing, just different areas.
Different
and
smells.
yeah, my favorite.
Did
The
you
Mayaca
elaborate?
Forest,
Lost
which is
Mark.
just south
The
of
MIB
Tampa
got
Bay.
him. Oh, no, there he is.
Oh, did they? Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Am I back? Okay.
You're back.
I mentioned the place I was in. I was in Mayaca Forest, which is just south of Tampa Bay. And in that area, that we were out interviewing some people who had seen 2 truck drivers emailed me didn't know each other, driving the same route, had both seen a flying humanoid. So, and both of them described it as a gargoyle. So I'm thinking, well, have they seen a cormorant? Because cormorants are pretty common in that area and they look like gargoyles. And I'm like, maybe Florida's got a Mothman. So let's go investigate. And I get out there and I don't know my way through the swamps, and I'm trying to find the area where they're looking. And I got a local guide to take me out. And as we're walking through the swamps to where a camper group had also emailed me and had seen something weird. And I get out there and I'm about halfway out into the swampy area. And the guy's like, instead of taking the path, let's cut this way. It's a lot quicker. And I'm like, okay, just don't kill me. I'm 50-year-old epileptic. I don't need to die out here in the swamp. And we get out there and we get by this one stream and he's about to just run across it. I'm like, whoa, wait. He's like, what? And I'm like, hang on a second. And I walk over just a little bit from where we were crossing and there were prints, big ones, and a couple little ones. And I'm like, oh my gosh, hang on. This is not what I'm intended to be here for, but I am. So I immediately, put notes where we're at, GPS marked it, and I sent it off to Dave Sidoti. I sent it off to Stacy Brown, all my friends in the skunk ape community down in Florida. Said, get down here and, get out there and get this Outcast Paranormal, everybody I could reach to. And I'm like, all right. So then we continued on our way. I kind of talked to the campers. They saw some things. Turned out it was a cormorant, but it was a big cormorant, and those things are giant. And I'm like, wow, I got to get back to those Bigfoot prints. And all the teams were like, we'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there tomorrow. We'll be there tomorrow. I was so excited. I'm finally going to get a Bigfoot cast that I found, right? And I had no equipment for any of that. I was all excited. The next day, they had Florida State did a controlled burn right in that exact area. I wonder why. That was not on any schedule, not on any thing.
What just an amazing coincidence that was. Just blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yep.
James Michael wants to know, where can one find a good footprint replica in plaster? I would say behind Joe. There's a few.
Yeah, it depends on what footprint you want. I can find it and give you a link to it or get you to somebody who has it. We've also got some of our own that we've made copies of. So
yeah, there's most Bigfoot festivals. You can find a few of them. There, a lot of guys have the master casts and make the copies. So
Yep. Our favorite squatch is up here, though. It's the boojum. I love the boojum.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's
Tell
hear
them
about it.
the boojum, Erica.
Well, go for it.
So the boojum's interesting because the boojum is known for having a relationship with a Native American woman and giving her gems. The family wasn't happy about this, but she moved into the woods. But there's another level where there is stories of how this Bigfoot would bring miners moonshine.
Oh man,
I need that Bigfoot in my life.
this is a cool Joe. This is we have to go and find.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, this is like my favorite.
Yeah.
Because he gets them drunk and then takes their gems and puts them in the moonshine bottles and leaves with them once he gets them plastered.
That's great.
And there's so many stories of this. And in a town near us named Mainsville, they have the Boojum Cafe. And so this is one up here where it trades for gems, and it's not just like knocking on trees and stuff like that. But there are so many stories from miners of this wild man in the woods coming in, bringing them liquor, and then disappearing with their gems to give to his love. So there's romance, there's gems, and there's alcohol. And I love it.
You know what? No, I mean, I gotta, all kidding aside, I could honestly see a whatever this is, because we've seen this trading with Bigfoot stuff. I mean, it's real. I mean, like it or not, there are folks who gift and they do receive. It apparently seems, at least the data shows that. I could see a Bigfoot literally, being obsessed with these gems and doing that kind of thing. Now, the alcohol part, that's a stretch, but I'm not going to say that Bigfoot doesn't have a hankering for some hooch. It's not me. I'm not saying that.
I know that's what I'm asking for now.
I want the Bigfoot.
The next time I leave like apples, I'm just gonna be like, put a little note.
Well, I'm really. I know.
Bourbon.
I'm just saying, if it's an intelligent creature and it watches these, idiots get drunk and then goes, I don't have to mine. That mining thing is really hard. But
That's
what
smart.
I can do? I can ferment the fruit.
Now, hear me out.
Smart.
What if a Bigfoot just figured out where some shiner still was?
Yeah.
And found some that was already, canned and bottled. He's like, I'm gonna take this to my friends. I bet they'll like it.
Stills, the folks who ran Stills, it was really common for them to just make a stash against the base of a large beech tree, because beech trees are normally hollowed out in the middle. So they'd go up, they'd have a spot that they could dig underneath, and they would get up and shove it into the cavity. And there would be, bottles, the big clay vessels of moonshine just stored up in there. So it wouldn't surprise me if during some of this, jamming of white lightning into a tree trunk that a bottle or two doesn't crack or get a loose opening, because you can smell the stuff. It has a little bit of an odor, and if it's an animal and it can smell, it's like, hey, what's this? Digs in, finds like, I've got a whole cache of moonshine now. I bet the people who hid this probably like this stuff. I'm gonna give it to them, and I'm gonna steal their gems.
Well, not only that, if you think about the fact that the rumor is that he had this relationship, that at least one of them had a relationship. It's not out of the question that particular woman explained to him, here's an idea. Let's go get this stuff, because it's not like they're unintelligent. Plus, they're the greatest stalkers of all time as far as watching and going, when they have these clay bottles, they're all laying and they don't wake up. Let's go get one of those. Let's see if that works. So I one of my favorite cryptids.
We heard that from a few Cherokee. We heard it from other locals that, he's all over the area, which was amazing to us. So,
yeah.
Well, our recent, more serious things are, we've had a couple, I guess you'd call them white fangs. Yeah. They're like graybacks, and they've been seen a lot in the Cades Cove Pass, which is a pretty popular area near Gatlinburg, right on the edge of the Smoky Mountains. You drive through there and it's literally just all tourists right now. But during the winter, people were seeing a lot of these things crossing through the pass when the bears were asleep. So what was it? And these were a lot, big things, and with a gray fur, and that's
our listener sent us drawings, and it was back to back. They were like, we saw these things, and we were like, that sounds terrifying. Thanks.
Yeah.
And Mark, on the other hand, is like, we should go investigate, and I'm like, nope.
There's a good question. I think Fishbelly just asked, would you drink with Bigfoot? Now,
Hands down.
Of all the questions that have been asked on this show, that's original.
Done and done.
I like that one.
Make it a lot easier to be
without a
sitting
question.
right next to a Bigfoot if I was drunk.
Looks like everybody says yes.
I just want to see a Bigfoot
There's
get
our,
drunk.
there's our poll for today.
I just want to see a Bigfoot get really drunk and then want to do
Octopus is
something really
taking step forward and is going to go into the spirit realm with Bigfoot.
brave. Yeah.
Would take mushrooms, Bigfoot.
Oh,
All right,
man.
Octo.
This right here,
Suddenly
that's
we're getting
I'm
into,
starting a new podcast.
Getting
Me,
hammered with
Glenn,
Sasquatch.
Ron, and Larry,
That's it.
and Brandon, and Mark, and Erica are all starting a new podcast called "Getting Hammered with Sasquatch."
There you go.
New episodes, semi-monthly.
Yeah. Well, it just depends.
Well, if it's been a rough week, we might do one tomorrow.
It just depends.
Yeah.
No one
Let's
knows.
talk about carrying a big stick again.
Yep.
I think it's a great idea. Let's just go get a bunch of moonshine, some gems, and go sit in the forest up here and just wait.
I feel
'Cause
that this is
eventually
some.
something will show up, right?
I think that Eric had just started some new metaphysical practice that hasn't quite been mastered yet, but needs to be. That's what I think. Moonshine and gems. I mean,
Everybody's like hot dogs and peanut butter. I'm just telling you, we could one up that, and I
okay.
get a better
This is-
response.
All right, folks. That's the next workshop is going to be moonshine and gems. And no, kidding. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't
Right.
don't
It's
donate
October.
to that. Don't
We
donate.
can't do
to
it
that.
in state forests anymore because
No.
alcohol is prohibited.
No, it'll have to be in someone's backyard.
Yep.
We'll try it up here. We'll
Thankfully,
let you
my
know if
land
it works.
borders the state forest, so we're good. So,
There you go. We'll do it there. We'll call them in.
Oh my goodness.
LR volunteered to be bartender.
All
I'll be
right,
on
there
the
you
grill.
go.
there we go.
There you go.
I saw Jackie and Michael Roddy were both down, so that's good too. So
That's a game plan right there. We've got it.
Oh my goodness.
Best
Explicatives,
party
yes.
ever.
Someone's into that. Now you think I'm joking? That's how this whole Mothman TNT area workshop started. It was just a silly joke, and then within 15 minutes, they had raised the funds to start really getting it on the ball, and here it is. We're just a couple weeks away, and it's just hilarious how this group works. They
Teresa
terrify
says,
me.
what's funny is that there's a darn good chance that everyone in this chat has immediate access to moonshine and gems.
don't have.
Gems and fungus.
I don't think I have the moonshine part, but definitely the gems. Yes.
We could resolve that real quick.
Well,
Real quick.
I could
We'll
too,
make it
but
happen.
it's not tequila, so
Senior Spookfest says,
Oh,
don't give
yeah.
any of the black-eyed kids. We're going to be carding everybody. Don't worry.
Oh, God.
yeah. But aren't
You
they
must
like
be
a couple
this
hundred
tall
years
to
old?
ride the Bigfoot drunk ride.
that's great. The black-eyed kids come trying to crash the party. Ah, come on.
Oh, that's right.
Like our
Yeah,
kids be
Michael
like-
Roddy has a bit of a fear about skunk apes and Sasquatch. So he was on an episode of ours recently. He's, for those that don't know, he's an amazing guy. He helped create Halloween Horror Nights icons and other stuff. So he's the creator of Jack
Awesome.
and some other fun stuff like that. But he admitted to us on our podcast that he was afraid of Sasquatch, and he remembered In Search of that episode, and then the $6 Million Man episode with Andre the Giant, coming at him, and he's the villain for the first half, and nobody beats $6 million man's ass except Sasquatch, right? And so, and there's that right for that first commercial break where he's jumping at the screen, and then you had to wait 2 minutes to find out if anybody was going to live, right? That was an eternity when you're 7 years old.
LR said, if you keep your drink in a solo cup, KSF will never notice what you're drinking.
No, LR.
We're learning all important safety tips here, guys.
Jen, I'm telling you, I'm going to start this up here. It's going to be called the Boojum Hayride. And you can
Drunk with actual Sasquatch.
This is I'm telling you, the start of something huge.
This is where it all begins, guys.
Yeah.
We could call our friend Doug Tate. Douglas Tate, he's the guy who is the Sasquatch for the Jack's Links commercials. We could call him. We can make this happen. So.
Michael says 2 minutes in the dark. Arg, aka how my firstborn was made. Leonard Nimoy, many of us got cryptic curios from In Search of. Yeah.
Yep. That was what made us Squatch curious.
Yep.
So yep.
That's not what made me Squatch curious.
Yep. I think we've got our weekend away.
I have a different Squatch curious now.
So.
I'm telling you, if I break this whole Sasquatch thing wide open because I got moonshine and gems and I figure it out, everybody's going to think I'm a genius.
I know.
Well, see, what me and Octopus have got to do now, we have to make psilocybin infused moonshine.
Oh my gosh.
And
don't do this.
Then we're going to be in business.
No, don't do this.
Okay. We got to talk about our other story then about Shine. I had a family. This was in Erie, Appalachia, and we just recently talked about it because it's such a great story. This family emailed me. I was reaching out all over for holler monster stories and stuff, and this was 2020. World was ending, so families were coming up to me telling me all kinds of fun stuff. This family in Pennsylvania, so they're kind of in that Southwest Virginia, that same area, right? That same just kind of they're in Western Pennsylvania, and they were a Shine family. They made Shine, and business was down. So one of the budding chemists of the family decides he knows his granny's old cookbooks have some extra ingredients that might prove handy. So he's got her books out, and what they are was Granny was like a Appalachian witch. So she had all kinds of roots and herbs that opened up spiritual doors and all that. So he put some of that in the Shine. Huge success, right? And they immediately invite all the barns and all the families over, and they all having a party with the new batch. But they start noticing movement in the shadows, things darting all over the place. And they think it's rats or something else. And of course, it's Eastern Pennsylvania, so everybody's got a gun. Or Western Pennsylvania, everybody's got a gun. So they all start trying to shoot the animals and whatever it is in the darkness. And finally, somebody catches one, and they described it to me as it looked like Venom from the comic book's head, just rolling around on the ground, all slimy with teeth and eyes. And they caught it in a bag, and they were reaching in to grab it and see what it felt like. And of course, it almost takes off the guy's hand. And so they get sent to the hospital, and the police bust the ring because there's gunfire and people bleeding all over and all this. And so the ring got busted, but he was convinced that the Shine let them see things that were already there.
Well, the other thing is he said it bites. Like one of the guys,
that's what the family call it. It bites. One word. It bites.
It bites.
Well, I mean, there is some evidence. Well, not it's anecdotal, but there is some evidence that does suggest that, that is a possibility that these things kind of open up. You can see things. You can kind of communicate with things if you're on the right level, so to speak. So if your brain's producing these waves, then, who's to say no, right?
It's true. He ended up being institutionalized, though, because he couldn't be in the dark. because every time he was in the dark, he would
see
just
that.
start screaming at bites.
He was
No,
convinced.
I could see that. That's
So-
PTSD. I mean, come on, think about it. That would be terrifying for real.
Have
Description
either of
actually.
you two ever experienced a Wendigo or talked to someone who has? I don't think I'd be sitting here if I experienced a Wendigo for what a Wendigo actually would be. But I mean, it's true. Wendigo are terrifying. Like, if you want to pick a terrifying cryptid, it's kind of like hide behinds. It's not like you have a bunch of people that are like, I had this great experience.
No, it's like you saw a Wendigo, i.e., I got eaten in the woods.
By a Wendigo. Like, yeah, here's my missing person thing, you know? Like, that's it. I haven't spoken to anybody, but Mark, have you spoken to anybody who's into Wendigo?
We had the one of my favorite stories was the lady. It's Wendigo adjacent, which was pretty cool. This lady, she was a baby minder up in Quebec, of all places. There's a story for our Canadian friend up there, Dave. This was in Quebec. It was in a village called Amaki, which is right at the end of the Appalachian Trail, right before it hits the water. And it was the lady was a baby minder, and they noticed a lot of the children were like dying on her watch. So the town, of course, is like following her out of town to see where she goes at night because they're convinced she's a witch. And turns out, yeah, she's talking to a big horned creature in the woods, which would be Wendigo area. And when they confront her, the thing disappears, and she turns around and they grab her cloak, and she's literally made of bones, made of children's bones, with a head, human head, children's bones. And so they call her the Bone Lady. Oh. And this is a local legend up there. It's like Headless Horseman, but the opposite, maybe. I don't know. She's a head, but nothing else. And the children's bones are what keep her alive. And that's how she moves.
I'm good not going there. That is not a place I will be visiting. Thank you.
Interesting.
That's a very strange encounter.
While I was on vacation, I did happen to just, how these coincidences happen. I don't believe there is such a thing. Walk into a, well, actually, it was where I bought my hat for $12.75. I like to bring that up because it's a fun origin story for the hat. But I met someone in there who absolutely knew about it. And her exact words were, "We don't say the name." And she was talking about, how it goes. And she was definitely native, very, very native. And she knows someone on a reservation who absolutely has seen this thing and had contact with it. And it is not something you want to mess with. And we had a nice little conversation about that, how, basically it's something you don't want to encounter.
No, I think there are definitely things that you get enough warning about, right? And yet still people try to pursue, and you go, that seems like a terrible plan. What are you doing? Because there's not a single story from that creature that ends well. Nobody has a story that ends well with that creature,
You're 100% right, Erica. 100%.
Mr. Spookfest talks about Roanoke. We did an entire episode on Roanoke and what may or may not have happened to those settlers.
Yeah, there was
very, very interesting. It's a fantastic story, and it's so freaking dark and depressing.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the whole Dare Stones from that is even weirder and crazier. It's almost Cocaine Bear level crazy. The story of the Dare Stones from Roanoke, and how they were messed with. Oh, hey, yeah, the Key West. Well, our best friend lives down in Key West, right, Erica?
Yeah, he is the most handsome boy in the entire world. But I had a friend that did one of those staying at Hemingway's house in, what is it called? A resident something where you're a writer and you can go be there. I forget what that's called. But they ended up only
writer in
staying,
residence,
writer in residence. They ended up staying 2 nights because of what was in that house. And they couldn't stay there. It kept waking them up and stuff like that. So they were like, nope, I'm out. but it is supposedly
doubt it.
very, very haunted. There's also a bar in Key West that supposedly.
I'd have never guessed there was
yeah.
a bar in Key West.
There's a few.
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
no, there's the big haunted bar is Captain Tony's
Captain
Tony's
Tony's.
Saloon, but
Yeah.
Wait,
but it's not
Captain Tony's is
the
haunted.
new Captain Tony's. The new Captain Tony's isn't. The original
Okay.
Captain Tony's, which
The
is
original
now
Captain
Sloppy
Tony's.
Joe's,
Yes,
is,
that one.
is haunted. So yeah, that one is super haunted. There's a ghost in the ladies' bathroom that is like a
What?
Bloody Mary that appears behind the mirror to people there all the time. And
There's
I have,
Ron's next vacation plans.
Yeah.
Go down and
I
hang
had
out in the
a
ladies'
dozen
restroom in
witnesses
Sloppy
there.
Joe's.
Incognito, we are Eerie Travels is the name of our podcast.
Wow, mind
Somebody
blown.
did mention Rougarou, which is another one of my favorite because that's a cryptid where you get a sexually transmitted curse. So you get an STC in order to become a Rougarou. You gotta love that. I mean, there's probably not a prophylactic on the planet that's going to protect you from that particular situation.
Right.
Kids just stay home.
Tony says bathroom ghost. Doesn't he mean moaning myrtle?
Uh,
Similar,
All you Harry Potter
similar,
fans
but
out there.
she's a screaming witch in the mirror. So it's
so what's
but
the
Key
story
West is-
like?
The
Any idea
story
who-
goes that
Yeah.
she was a witch that was hung from the tree that grows up right there in the middle of the bar. That's still
Okay.
there. It's a
Yeah.
century-old tree. It was the town square at one point. The bar got built around it, and so supposedly she was hung there. Now there's no proof of any witch hangings or anything there. There's a gravestone that's built into the floor that the name is Elvira, so of course that means it had to be a witch. But that's where the stories kind of merge. But the window, the mirror in the bar, there are literally dozens of reports of people running out of that bar screaming and reporting it to the police. They were
Oh,
so
wow.
terrified by it. So there are police reports backing that up. And
How about
it's
that?
it's a fun stop if you're doing haunted pub tours in Key West. So there you go.
That
And then
definitely.
go to
I like how Mark says that. People have run screaming from this bar in terror, called the police, and he's like, it's a fun stop if you're going to Key West. Like,
I will never listen to.
everything. He's like, well, there's this screaming ghost that will terrify you if you go to the bathroom. And he's like, we should go.
I will never listen to Last Mango in Paris the same way again.
Yeah,
Never.
there you go.
That's
Michael
Oh,
says,
uh,
"Oh well, now my fear of Bigfoot has subsided. A sexually transmitted curse, never leaving the house."
that's
worry.
amazing.
Don't worry, James. I'll let him know where you're at.
Pat says he
Yeah.
heard some screaming bathrooms before, usually at Mexican restaurants.
Taco Bell.
That's terrible. That's terrible. You're all terrible. You're bad people.
So, Mark, have you noticed like a trend through Appalachia with, hanging trees and witches, ghosts hanging around them? Because we've got there's two in our vicinity that I know of, and that's just in West Virginia. I personally haven't looked into too many, but when you mentioned the alleged witch hung out in front of that bar there back in the day, it's kind of like, it's like, that's a decent. That makes three. I bet there's probably a lot more.
Yeah, they go all the way down to Florida. We had the Brooksville witch, Blackwater Hattie. There's that became the Blair Witch because that was the legend that they were researching, and it turns into the Blair Witch Project. The guys who made that movie were from Florida, and she's a witch hanged at a tree, and she didn't die, so they lit her on fire, and her ghost runs through the forest.
Bye, Danny.
On fire. It's crazy. Bye, Danny. Have a good night. There's a bunch of crazy stuff on that. So, then there's some like the Devil's Tree down in Port St. Lucie, where it starts like a witch was burned to the street, but then you find out, no, the real reason it's called the Devil's Tree is a real life serial killer actually killed people and tied them to this tree and did terrible things to them, and then did terrible things to their corpses after he was done. And
Unbelievable.
Humans are much more
those
terrifying than
tree
creatures.
stories are all, or
Humans are terrible creatures.
Yeah.
Wow. So here's a question for you about that. Here's a question for you for that, because we hear a lot about this, this witch was, here and there, and obviously that's what this ghost is. It's a witch and all. Do you think that that's just a lot of, it's just imposed upon an already paranormal event that's taking place in these areas? It's kind of like the Bell Witch Cave, for example. It's kind of like that. It's like, it's just it's sort of a I guess a label to put on these things that are there. It makes it easier to understand. It's a witch, so obviously that's what it is.
Well, one thing we talk about, like the woman in white. People have heard the woman in white, right? We've all heard of the woman in white. Yep. So when we first started the podcast, we were going to do a Valentine's Day episode, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about the woman in white. I ended up down the most ridiculous rabbit hole, because every single culture, before internet, before books were traded, before all that stuff, even in the Asian area, everything has a woman in white, and they always say it's dark haired, wearing a white dress, near running water, right? Those are the three things that tends to be, and they always go, oh, that was Lucy who lost her kids, or that was Barbara who did, but they're consistent, kind of like the Hat Man, which leads you to go, what is this thing? Because every culture is seeing it. And I think I always say that ghosts, if you believe in spirits or souls or whatever you want to call that, right? They don't have a form. They don't have a whatever. So I always talk about how ghosts must cosplay, right? As something, because people are always like, I saw the ghost of Elvis. Well, if the ghost of Elvis is in every place people saw the ghost of Elvis, he gets around a lot.
And if you're going to see the ghost of Elvis, that means Elvis would actually have to be dead.
So, but it leads you to go, it's easy to go try to associate a story to something when people don't have an explanation, because then it justifies, oh, it's because of this. And it's not. There's things that we just don't understand how it works. It's like a child ghost. Well, I saw a child ghost. Well, a spirit is a spirit is a spirit. It's not aged. It might have been the child last time around, or however you believe, right? But it's not that. It's just what you perceived that was, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it? And, somebody brought up Hellview Cemetery. One of my favorite stories, and Mark can talk about that because literally wrote the book on it, and he used all these things, but they actually had a fearmonger, which a lot of people don't necessarily talk about, which are these, well, I don't even know what they are, but there's something that literally feeds on people's fear and makes you terrified. And there was this thing sitting in his haunted house for years.
We think that it was, we were like, man, I wish we could pay this thing because it's giving us extra business, because it just amps up the terror in the area. And people were seeing monsters in rooms. We didn't have monsters. People were seeing their worst fear. They're like, man, I'm so glad you put clowns in this year. I'm like, we don't have a clown this year. So, but we had a psychic come in and said, oh, you have a fearmonger on your property. And I'm like, what the hell's a fearmonger? And they explained it to me that it's like an entity that enjoys the fear that you guys are causing with your haunted house. And it's feeding on that. And maybe that's where some of these legends come from. That, that's why is this ghost here? There's no reason for this historical figure to be in this building. Well, if somebody had an irrational fear of Abraham Lincoln, then that's why he's suddenly in this building that he never actually visited.
Man, that's not a bad thing to have in a haunted house, right? I mean,
well, exactly. Like I said, we were like, can you pay him? Yeah.
Terry's here, everyone. Terry, welcome. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. You have to go back and listen to the rest of the show. There's some crazy stuff in there that you just won't believe. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm firmly convinced the woman in white and Hat Man are dating. And they just get together and talk about what they did with their evenings.
Are the black-eyed kids their children?
Possible.
Yeah, done.
Who knows? Yep. Tommy Swagger said he believes the woman in white is connected with Bigfoot and other cryptid creatures. Never put the two together until he heard me mention it, but we think that a lot of these things may be somehow cut from the same cloth, so to speak. Doesn't mean they're related, but it just means that they seem to follow each other at times. And yes, there are woman in white sightings.
It goes back to the, flap areas, hot spots, triangles,
Exactly.
keels, window areas, right?
Yes,
It's
window
all,
areas. That's right.
all that same stuff. The veil is
Yep.
closer in certain areas than others. And these things just kind of, are maybe it takes one to open the door and the other one's kind of, oh, hey, look, it's a feast. Let's come on through. And
Yeah, we
let's
don't
see
know.
what we can do. There you go. Fear mongers and sleep paralysis demons get along great.
I agree with Tony. I'm Team Tony here.
You guys.
I have fear mongers.
Are
when
we
you can
really
have
going to go
beer
down
mongers.
the alcohol train again? Are we really going to go there? I mean, come on.
Oh
really?
yeah, man. It's that kind of week, dude.
It's that kind of week. Oh,
Yes, sir. It is.
Yeah.
This ain't coffee.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
we're all
Kevin
still.
didn't leave.
Well, I'm getting ready for the weekend, so that's fine. If y'all want to go there, we can start a weekend early. I don't care. This is your pre-weekend party, everybody. Enjoy it.
It's interesting you said the woman in white thing, because one thing me and Mark have talked about a lot too is tulpas, right?
Yeah.
And the ability for people to put enough whatever behind something to bring it to life. And there's documentation about tulpas in the past and different groups bringing certain things to life. But it's interesting, kind of like the knot deer. We talk about that a lot, right? Because really you didn't hear a lot about the knot deer until Creepypasta, right? Brought it forth, the knot deer. But now people are legitimately seeing knot deer, right?
In my opinion, those people are legitimately having non-human intelligence encounters. Because if you look at the original encounter of the knot deer, there was missing time involved.
It's interesting.
That's not, there's some very high strangeness elements involved and wrapped up in that one.
But it's interesting because you see, and like Slender Man and stuff like that, there's so much around it. You just go, if you put enough energy from people toward something,
tulpas and egregores,
bring it to being, kind of like the Boon Devil. That's what they're saying, is this thing was summoned. It just was never put back, right? Which is the irony of doing spells or whatever you want to call it like that, is that I think people forget like the entire timeline that needs to go. Like, I'm going to bring you to do this thing, and as soon as you're done with this thing, you need to go, or X amount of time. They're just like, nah, we're gonna just leave this here. We'll just leave this here. You can have that. So
you can go ahead and read that one there, Joe. It's a word in I won't say. Go ahead.
If you have the ability to make contact with Bigfoot or Dogman and other creatures, then it appears you, as well as other people that have never had contact with Bigfoot, but they see her plain as day. Talking about the lady in white.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing with people going,
it does seem to be, because you guys know when we
we're allowed to focus on attention. But I think a lot of this stuff too is that if we have to go, I believe in this thing 100%, but I refuse to believe in this other thing. It's a very interesting thing, especially because I started doing this with Mark a few years ago. And then when we created the podcast, I'm learning a ton of stuff. I'm not nearly have as much experience and knowledge as everyone that I'm on here with. But what I find fascinating is how willing people are to dig their heels in about, no, this fairy thing isn't real, but I believe in Dogman. And I'm like, can you hear yourself like talking?
Right.
You're like, I believe in this 9-foot, werewolf thing, but no, fairies aren't real. And,
Hit that one there, Joe.
As I had missing Tom, my first UFO in Maine, had dreams for weeks about being on the UFO from the point of view, and me on a beach with my friends. Still have the dreams once in a while.
Yeah.
We had a gentleman on our show named Adam Hutton, and he has x-rays showing this thing that they implanted inside of him, and has video. It's amazing, this guy's story. And I believe it. Most people who have had these encounters talk about last time and stuff. Yep. But again, I believe in Dogman, but not UFOs.
I think that this goes deeper.
Adam's Adam's story was incredible, and I should have him get in touch with you guys and get on your show sometime, because he was probably one of the first guys that hit big on disclose, because he was filming himself the day he got super sick. He was watching crows making a weird formation, and it triggered something, him and his friend, and they got hit with weird energy. And then there's a whole bunch of synchronicities leading to where he got x-rayed and found the whatever's in there, and he's still dealing with it this day. And he was so afraid to come out and talk about it that he made a rock band, and themed it about alien abduction so that he could get his message out without feeling like a crazy person that people would talk about. Oh, that's just a band.
Yeah. We do that for real. We do that. Yeah. And it's not that we do it because we want attention, or we want to get our, the message out. Sometimes we have no choice. I found that a lot of experiencers, they are artistic, and if they can't get it out one way, they get it out in multiple ways. I thought I was just writing songs, about contact and whatnot. And look at this. I've created this whole world that literally has almost evolved into lyrics of a song I wrote in 1994. This is the kind of weird stuff that you see with those kind of experiences. And I think it's about validation is what I think it's about, Mark. I think that these people need to hear that from others. I think
social media is the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, social media is the other thing. We've opened it up. We are now, instead of just us talking around the campfire, telling the next generation, oh, there's this thing that lives in the woods, be careful. Yeah. Now we're telling it to everybody. And now everybody's going, oh, I'm not the only one. And it's, we're no longer the, crazy Uncle Joe. We're all crazy Uncle Joe. We all have our stories. Yeah. And that's why I love, one of our big things is we talk about document, write it down. Say the day, put it somewhere. If you don't believe in the BFRO, you don't believe in, MUFON or whatever, because you're afraid they're government contracts, whatever, that's fine. Report to these guys, report to Wild and Weird, report to Eerie Travels. Let us know. That way we can document it. And we have our own databases, and we collaborate behind the scenes. And that helps us find, okay, 7 people saw this thing at the same month within a 5-mile radius. Boom. That's how we figure it out. So,
yeah. Well, one thing too that I think is so important is that, and this is again coming from not as much experience as everybody else, is you have to be willing to acknowledge what people are saying. You don't have to agree with them, but you have to be willing to listen to them and have that be their reality, and not try to go, oh, I don't agree, or it's this or it's that, because there's so many different experiences that are not explained. And it's horrible for people to think that they're crazy or whatever. And then, they're sitting on this. The amount of letters we get that start with, I hope you don't think I'm crazy. I don't think you're crazy. You experienced something we can't explain.
It's absolutely true. And it's all about perspective as well. We don't have the right to tell someone something doesn't exist that we didn't participate in. And even if we did, we may have perceived it as something completely different. And this has happened multiple times, by the way. So just because I saw a ball of light and you saw, a shadow figure at the exact same time, which one saw the right thing? We don't know. We don't have a clue.
It's true. And you find with so many people who are empathetic or have situations like me and Mark have situations. It's one of the things we have in common, that we both encountered and can perceive, but we do perceive things slightly different. But some people see things, some people hear things, some people just feel things. And all of us, we don't know how it's built that we're able to do that, and where we can be in a room and maybe have an experience with a hat man when the person sleeping next to you doesn't have that same experience. Right. That's because of them, not because you didn't have that experience.
No, that's right. And some people actually, I think, are a little bit more inclined to have those experiences. I think Gary Nolan actually showed that in some of his papers, that the weird thing was that, some of these people had higher functioning brains. And what was even weirder was that some of those people went on to marry other people with the exact same thing. And, the data shows basically that was almost statistically improbable, not impossible, but improbable, which, doesn't lead Gary to say it, but I'll say it. That seems by design. And based upon everything that I've seen data wise, that's probably what's happening. I don't think anything's a coincidence myself.
Yeah. No, it's true. Well, we talked about invisible friends. I don't call them imaginary friends, but when you're younger, you're told that you're not seeing it. It's your imagination. It's all of this. Like, it's kind of the whole thing when we're growing up that I don't know when it changed, but in school, we should be able to raise our hand and ask questions and be confused about things and not understand things and do that. But from a very young age, the moment you raise your hand, you could be made fun of by the entire class for being dumb or whatever. So you stop being willing to go, I don't understand, right?
No,
at a very young age.
No, that's 100% true. And, I was called a weirdo and a wacko and all that. And I like to tell people, my success story is looky what we did. Thanks to you. Thank you. Thank you, people who made fun of me and called me weird. You created this. Yep. Right, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, it's, I didn't necessarily face that kind of being called weird. I mean, I was called crazy about other strange things that didn't have anything to really do with this, but
you are weird.
Yeah.
So
but it was I kept all of my stuff under wraps because of security clearances or working in ministry.
I
My
didn't
mom
either.
told me when I was 6 years old not to tell people what I was seeing because they would lock me up.
A lot of people. I've heard that multiple times at this point. Folks, please do. It is that time. Make sure that you are hitting that like, subscribe, and on share. We have had an incredible. There's Meryl McAuliffe over there. Meryl out there. She's going to be popping in there at the TNT workshop. Speaking of wild and weird, and it's going to be some fun times. Everybody, we've got some incredible experiments ready. We've got some guinea pigs lined up. Adam's out there somewhere, I think. And we're gonna try to do some stuff and see if we can document it and teach you guys how to document stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But everyone, please do make sure that you're hitting that like and that subscribe and all that stuff. And let's get those hearts flowing out here. Let's get these guys some questions. We got some more time to go. So there, I see the hearts popping over there. Thank you. I don't know who you were, but thank you so much for that. I just happened to see that. I was over here looking at the screen. Multiple thank yous. Thank you. Okay, moving on. That's what they get for thank yous. A little musical ditties,
Just a taste.
Yep. No, we'll be.
That's all you get.
This week we're heading up to the Hodag Festival. So we've been studying up for the road trip, and we're going to hit a few places. Of course, we're going to go by Bray Road. We're going to go by a few other fun ones. I'm a big nerd, so we're stopping at Lake Geneva so I can celebrate the 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons. That was why I was a weird kid. I was playing Dungeons & Dragons in West Virginia in the 70s back in the Satanic Panic. So I was almost burned at
You
the
were
stake.
the reason. You're what caused the Satanic Panic, Mark.
Yeah, that was me.
Me too.
It was all me.
Me too. Yeah. I played. My mom actually literally asked me if I joined a satanic cult when I started playing Dungeons and Dragons at 12, and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I did. I was like, you know what? All hail Satan. Let me be a warrior monk. Like.
Sorry, Mother.
If
my
you weren't
alignment.
asked that at least one time growing up by your parents or somebody who was an authority figure above you, you were doing like wrong.
Yeah, I think it's hysterical because we were nerds before it was cool to be a nerd.
Oh yeah. We were all definitely way cool. But they just didn't recognize it. We were ahead of our times.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So Tom said, question, it's
great.
personal, but I'm curious from the woman in here. My wife had her butt grabbed yesterday and she thought it was me, but I was over at the neighbor's house.
We've seen that. Literally have seen that happen before, by the way.
Teresa was there too.
What's the question? Because that sounds like something she might not want to mention.
I think there's more to his comment. It only lets you throw so much in there. I'm going to wait and see if the second portion drops in.
Yeah. See if there's a second after. Yeah.
Yep.
The ghost here has never touched anyone before, just throws. Well, here's the thing I think about ghosts in general. if you start perceiving them, how do I say this? I feel like it's kind of like the Ouija board theory. If you start granting access and acknowledging things, you kind of open doorways. That's my belief, right? Like I'm not saying you throw it open, but sometimes you squeak it open a little bit where it has more ability to go, oh, you saw me. It's kind of like there are so many stories of people running into ghosts where the ghosts are a little shocked that the person saw them, right? And then all of a sudden they have more activity because they are realize they're perceived and they're like, oh, hey, hi, oh, I can do, oh, you see me, I can do this thing then.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think. And your wife may be have a different wavelength than you do when it comes to these things, as far as that sort of thing. It might have tried to touch you and it just didn't register, where it registered for her.
His
next question there was, do you believe the spirit is evil?
No, I would say I don't believe things are evil until they show evil intent.
Agreed.
There's a place we go. I've been Eric has been to, is the May Stringer House down in Brooksville, Florida. This is a super haunted location. It's amazing. If you want activity, there's numerous ghosts there. That's where you want to sign up and go with your team. But they have a ghost in the attic, and he's called Mr. Nasty. And he is known for pulling hair, grabbing people, being very forceful. And on your EVPs are all foul language and all this stuff. And so, of course, a lot of places are like, oh, he's demonic. He's this, he's that. I'm like, if you're a jerk in real life, during the day, you might be a jerk then, and I think this guy's just an a-hole. So yeah, that's all it is. I think Mr. Nasty is just,
he's also in the attic, and it was brought in with an actor's trunk is when he showed up. And the thing is, he literally will open the door. If you shut the door, he opens the door, like, get the hell out of here. Like, that's his whole thing. Like, you can leave. So
we were
people
there
keep
with
coming in with little things going, I want to investigate you. Of course, he's like, get out. Like, I don't want you.
It's like, you're in my room. I'm going to touch you funny till you leave.
I think Terry said, I think the point is we all have our weird things. Just because our weird things are different, we can't tear down other people's weird things just because we haven't experienced it. And yes, that is 100%, in my opinion, correct.
And
nailed it.
One thing I always say is, and 100%, me and Mark say, is intention. If something is bothering you, you're bothered about it, go and state your intention to whatever it is. Just like, this is my house. Don't do that. It's not okay with me. And if you continue to do it, I'll put you in a mason jar. Like, it's like, because a lot of it has to do with whether or not you have your space as your space versus allowing it to shrink your space.
It was me.
Ike says it was him, Tommy. Yeah. Don't worry.
Jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Ike.
Spookfest says, I had some things move. I had a pinch in my arm, a voice in my ear, not on equipment, just a whisper. I caught on camera as many more experiences.
Well, do you want it to still be there? Because if you don't, you should tell it to leave.
That's,
Pat says evil doesn't exist. It's only a difference in the belief of what is positive outcome between two entities.
Well,
that's very philosophical.
It's a good way to put it, Pat.
I don't know that I agree, but it's philosophical.
I'd say someone's reading their Nietzsche. So, I think evil does exist, and it's back in that Mexican restaurant bathroom that we discussed.
Right? The screaming Mexican restaurant bathroom. Expelling demons from your sphincter.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Forcefully and unwillfully.
Well, you willingly set yourself up for the expulsion.
Sometimes you eat and it's just like, Tom says, and definitely she's been having more issues lately with the ghost than me, but she's here alone and it's great. But Ike, oh God.
So Joe, let me ask you this.
Oh my gosh.
Make Ike our version of Master Roshi?
Oh yeah, it would.
Oh, it totally would. He just needs
definitely
he needs a walking stick. You need to give him a walking stick.
I'm making him one.
He needs the walking stick, and then he's totally Master Roshi.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we have the one from asking me about my butthole. That one's even got the curve on the top, so it'll work perfect. I just got to shorten it a little bit.
Just don't even go there. I don't even want to remember this.
If Glenn were here, Glenn, are you still in the chat?
No. No. Glenn would
Oh,
have to
man.
So I'll fill
No.
you in on this because everybody's
No.
in the dark. There was a kid. He was like in his mid-20s, walking around in OBC, and just came to the wrong place
at the wrong time in his life.
If you've got Glenn and me and the ghost of Wayne Barnes anywhere nearby, and you wear a shirt that has aliens with a UFO abductee thing on the front, and then a question on the back, or a statement rather, on the back that says, "Ask me about my butthole," you had best believe it's going to get lively.
It got lively.
Because we will.
I had no
we will
control.
become the ghost that touches you funny.
I had no say. I had no control. It just happened.
And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Brought tears to
The
my eyes.
highlight of my weekend.
He learned
And
a
he
valuable
couldn't
lesson.
breathe. I thought the poor guy was going to like choke to death.
He learned a valuable lesson.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, that
Always.
was a good time. Good time.
Always.
That was good times.
Yep.
That was good times. The memories.
Sounds like it already got lively. So Pat says when the Wendigo just wants to eat, your suffering is an unfortunate side effect.
Just like a
Oh, hey,
bear,
speaking-
just like a shark. Just
Speaking
like
of biting,
anything.
that thing earlier that you described,
Just like
that was,
Sasquatch, Michael Roddy.
that was
Oh boy.
the slimy head thing that would bite people.
It bites.
The venom
Yeah,
head.
that reminds me of a
Yeah.
Stephen King story. It was called The Langoliers.
As I
Yeah,
say,
Langoliers.
what I thought too is the Langoliers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that reminds me of.
That was my thought immediately when they described that. But they were like, it was very oily, like slimy,
Mhm.
and it was like dripping shadow. And I was like, ooh, that's a good way to. I'm putting that in the story because that was a lot of fun to write about. So
Well,
So
can you
Spookfest,
And then, of course,
but
they emailed-
because you Spookfest, because you threw this quote in here, the way he said that in that movie is exactly how I posed and said that out loud on the third floor where everybody in OBC
except
could hear me.
For the
And
volume
it was
was
amazing.
loud enough to hear on the first floor
It was great.
with a massive staff in his hand, and he shoves it into the ground like Moses and exclaims that for all
Yeah.
to hear.
Ooh,
It
batter
was great.
skits.
Poor
I like
kid.
that.
You should look that up, Mark. Batter skits. But I just think it's
That's what
funny
they
that
call the
these shiners, out of all the things they get to see on a different plane of existence, they get these things that bite. Like you just gotta love the irony that they didn't get to see like
Interesting.
beautiful fairies or something like that. They got slimy venom heads that bite.
They could be one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's that
I mean, if you
possibility,
read into some of the original stories about fairies, they're going to steal your teeth and vital organs, and you're going to wake up real confused and in a lot of pain and have no idea what happened. It's going to be a bad day in a cold bathtub.
We have a lot of people ask us, especially because they tend to take things and like how to get the things back. And I'm like, you know, it's just kind of like the rules. You got to understand the rules of the game you're playing. They're playing a completely different game than you are. Like, this is mine now.
See, that happens to me often, and the thing usually doesn't reappear until you no longer need it, and then you'll suddenly find it
Right.
laying on the counter or something.
And literally right where you just walked. You know,
Mhm.
you'll hear something, you'll turn around, it's right there on the ground. Like,
Yep.
I've walked this 100 times. Where was it stuck
Well-
to my back? You know?
Mhm.
Mark's house that he moved into, this is a fun story because it happened again today. Mark, tell them
Yep.
about your roommate.
Oh crap. Terry
Oh
just
yeah, we've got
Hang
a
on.
hold on, they got a super jet. Let's
Yeah,
go with
we
that
gotta-
first.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you,
So
Terry.
Terry
You are
just-
awesome. Keeping it free for eons.
Thank you so
it
much,
says,
and-
Ron knows the weird crap that has happened with me. It's been so important to be able to talk with him and assure me that I'm not crazy. And it's why these platforms are so important.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Ron, can you play Hotel California?
Thank you, Brandon.
Birds.
Shut up.
No, what I moved into this house, and the people who built this house lived here for some time, and then the man who built it, he passed away 10, 12 years ago, and the wife lived here till just last year. She couldn't stay here anymore. So we picked up the house, and I moved in. This is my study, and I started bringing in my books, which you see behind me lots. It's my study, and I have lots and lots of books. And apparently the gentleman who was here before us was also a professor and a study, and he loves books. So whenever we tend to leave the house for some time, which we go on lots of travels, we're going on lots of trips for Erie Travels and doing research and going to conventions
over to Erica's
and all that.
house this afternoon.
Yep, I drove to Erica's house a couple mountains away, and when I came back, there's a book from my collection, usually sitting in front of the craft room, which my wife's room next door, and it's like we keep that door closed because that's where our snakes and our lizard is loose in there, and that's the reptile room, and it's like he tried to carry the book through the door, and it just drops right there. So every time we're gone, there's a new book every once in a while. I'd say about 75% of the time.
Oh
now.
yeah. Well, and when
if we're gone for a period of time, that book is there.
Today's book was The Walkway Clause. That's today's book.
I would probably keep track of
fantasy.
I would keep track of those books and the subjects and titles and see if there's any kind of correlation there. Someone might be trying to tell you something.
Well, and that's when I
first
walked in. Yeah, he's got them all.
One was Hannibal. One was Hannibal. One was a James Bond.
Okay.
One was a James Bond. And
this is like
When Lose Die or Be Eaten. That's going to be the new title.
Calderon.
Okay.
So fun stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I don't know. He's got a wide variety like I do. So
sounds like it's an idea for a new D&D campaign.
No.
we could be dealing with the stone tape theory here.
On our Discord, our Erie Travels Discord, we have a book club, and now we're starting to say maybe we should have the ghost pick the books. So.
Yeah. Well,
it could be the stone tape theory we're dealing with here too, and the original owners of the house and the people that built it are going around picking up the book and moving, going to the reptile room and seeing your Savannah monitor and just be like, oh my god, and dropping it and freaking out, and then they're back in their dimension. How does this thing keep getting here?
Yep. Claudius the Wonder Lizard.
In another period in time, your Savannah monitor is haunting those people.
I love that. The Savannah monitor is haunting ghosts. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big lizard.
He's creating an alternate dimension cryptid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. He's
dinosaurs.
Claudia.
It's Claudius. Claudius.
Claudius.
So as in Emperor Claudius. So
a mangrove monitor.
Yeah. Nice.
We've got my people here in the room. Apparently, I had no idea that you were into monitors as well, Octopus.
Wow.
It's named Ray.
I saw somebody mention our good friend Indrid.
Anita. That is terrifying, but awesome.
Rhaegal. That's a great name. Great name. Long live the Targaryens.
Yes.
So.
Spookfest says, I do think the stone tape theory is interesting. If we use gold, it would be more powerful. It's a great conductor of electric and holds energy better.
And just to test that theory, we start our donations right now for that experiment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But
for just 99 cents per donation. and I will begin bottling you my tears.
Oh,
You
no.
can use to burn away warts or something.
No.
And we're going to order gold conducting rods so that we can make sure that we are forever recorded in history via the stone tape.
All
I think I
hail
saw
the
in the chat, Jackie
stone
message is Claudius bigger than they are. Jackie, I know a lot of animals bigger than you. You are a tiny thing, but Claudius is not bigger than you. But he still would love to eat your shoes again.
This is bigger than Jackie.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Heaven's
Yeah, no,
words
I
are
think
paid
if
for.
we get all the gold, I think that's it. We built big, giant golden pyramid for Wild and Weird and Eerie Travels. And that'll be where we can do stone tape tests. We can open
Giant
some
pyramids,
portals. We'll do it
Don't
all.
forget about our drunk Sasquatch parties.
Exactly. We got to have our drunken squatch parties.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Giant Pyramid's been on my list for a long time, so I'm
We
good.
call a booze gym party.
Oh, we got another.
Larry
Lord,
Hose, thank you, brother. You
blessing.
are awesome.
Bring forth. Bringing
Making it
forth
rain,
blessing,
Sky Daddies.
bringing forth the blessing, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Erica, if we do that, we do it with Bruce Campbell.
Mm. There we go.
We just do that with Bruce Campbell instead of Matthew McConaughey.
Hail
No,
to the
there's-
king, baby.
There's only one Sky Daddy.
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that Mark will figure out how to bring up Bruce Campbell in every show or podcast that he's on. You could literally be talking about Christmas reindeer and he'll be like, so this one time Bruce Campbell had a Christmas reindeer. Like,
Okay. I mean, you know, some people's
all
weird
the time.
is they're weird. I don't touch it.
Or
It's
Bureau
cool.
13. Don't forget
Oh.
Bureau 13, which is the greatest role-playing game that everybody needs to play. So,
I've never heard of that one. I have to check it
it was
out.
X-Files before X-Files was cool.
Oh, well, now that you've opened that door, here we go.
Wasn't there a comic book series about that, Mark?
Yep, Bureau 13 was a role-playing game, and then it was a comic book. It was a
Yeah.
video game, and then X-Files and a bunch of other things kind of stole its thunder. So it's all good.
Oh, goodness. James,
Nelson. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then.
Thank you, James.
Oh, some Thunderstruck.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Freebird.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
James, Larry, you guys are fantastic, and you're going to see everything that everybody who makes it to the workshop and everybody who will be watching stuff from the workshop after the fact. You will see everything that this has been going towards.
Yes, and it's going to be
So-
amazing, even if you can't be there. We thank you so much for the contribution, and you know we're going to do it again. So we're going to keep these things rolling as much as we can. And I mean, honest to goodness, the interaction with you guys in the field, it's priceless. So yeah, we're going to keep that going.
I basically
Tony says he can't judge Mark because he basically looks for any excuse to make a Megadeth reference whenever he's in the spotlight.
He does.
Ah,
He does do
Yeah.
that.
that is awesome.
Oh, Pat's down there making requests. I don't
Comfortably
know
numb.
about comfortably on a ukulele. I don't know, man. I mean, I could try, I guess. I don't know. B minor is kind of hard on this thing, though. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it just for you. Yeah, it's close. There you go.
Tony says play Hanger 18 next.
No, requests are done, guys.
Yuri Travel says, would it kill you to play some Fog Hat?
Oh man.
Mark.
See what you started. Look what you guys started.
I dig me some Fog Hat.
Look, guys, here's a story. I'm going to tell you the story about the ukulele real quick. Okay.
Master of puppies.
Well, I have this thing. You'll see it at the end of the year. If you're coming to Mothman Festival, you will see it. That's all I can tell you. But I have to learn how to play this thing before then. And boy, are you in for a treat.
Yep. I think we saw bits of the viral video last year that might be leading to this.
Oh, you've seen.
You ain't seen nothing.
I think I caught the tail end of that happening live. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean,
Even bigger?
The Doobie Brothers.
Oh my God, I'm in.
Even bigger.
It's bigger, but it's awesome.
Spookfest. See you later, brother.
Absolutely out of this world. Spookfest. We'll see you next round. Many thanks.
Scott's requesting some slow rod.
Slow rod. There you go. Wow. I guess everybody just make you a request list, and I'll stick it in the to-do list thing for all the millions of other things I have to do. But I'll do it for you because it's your show, by God, and that's just how it runs around here at Wild and Weird West Virginia.
Are you playing with a pick or are you playing freehanded?
Oh, that's free.
Okay, yeah, stick with freehand.
Yeah, the pick's over here. It's a special ukulele pick, and you get some real power with that thing.
You do. You gotta. They bite hard.
Oh no, this is cool. This is it's very felt. It's free. Very cool. But I like to do that's what I'm trying to figure out. So anyway, that's enough of that. So you guys have
play Crazy Train on an electric ukulele.
Okay.
I like that was the song, the very first song I learned how to play on guitar because I hated myself.
Of course you hated
this is the song that I chose to learn. And it took me over a year to get it. But by God, by the time I got it, I had it.
Well, that's weird. That was weird. I unplugged my monitor for a second, and you were coming out from the floor. So apparently, there's another monitor on the floor. So either that or there's a ghost in here.
Tom says, Mark, do you got any new books coming out in 2024? Any events on your schedule in or around WV? He wasn't in the room earlier when you were talking about Grafton.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll be at Grafton Festival. We'll be at Flatwoods Festival, and we'll be at Mothman Festival. And then Cicada Books in Huntington. They usually host me for a signing around there. So like in the week between Flatwoods and Mothman, I'll try to be there. They're a great store. If you haven't been there, they're
dude,
amazing.
when you're down in the Huntington area, let me know. We'll go get dinner. Like I'm all right. 20 minutes
Sounds
downtown.
like a plan. We're 30 minutes from there. We have the family land is in Louisa, Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember you telling me about that last year at
Cryptid. So that's our base camp for these events. So we'll definitely get in touch.
Yeah.
So, we do have new books coming this year.
3 books coming out this year. So we have
and they are Erie Travels,
the Gulf Coast,
and one is the Dark Side of the Gulf Coast, one is the Dark Heart of Appalachia, and one is the Dark Side of the Smokies.
Yeah.
So, and we're
need to write another book and call it Things
and these are going to be a little different. Yeah, they're going to be a little different. They're actually road trip guides, so you can do 7 days in a specific area and hit all the spooky things that we want to have you visit. and
That's
also so that you can also go to cool restaurants or oddball things that are just really good.
Did we just go back there? We went back there,
done
didn't
road
we?
trips for the last 2 years. Stockpiling.
Yeah, we went back full circle. If you didn't go back and watch the beginning of the show, it's all about apparently alcohol. So that's how it is tonight. My news feed just popped up.
Yep.
Families, alien sightings can't be denied from Fox News, Las Vegas, maybe. Yep, probably what that's all about, Rob. It's all back in the news again. And I'd say it's because the algorithm said, hey, you like this weird stuff? Hey, here's something for you.
Demon warrior aliens.
Demon warriors. They're here.
From planet Zorpazorp.
Oh, good old planet Zorpazorp. God bless Zorpazorp.
Tom says you may be able to purchase a quality Mothman chair from the Mothman store coming soon. I'll be working on the design, but I'm hoping to have them delivered soon.
And they are top notch for real.
They're awesome.
Now, you folks who are coming to the event, you're going to get to see one of those. Right, Joe?
Not only get to see one, but one of you are going to get the privilege of taking it home.
What did you say? Did you just say we're giving away an original Tommy Swagger chair at the workshop? Is that what you just said?
That is exactly what you heard.
Holy crap! I can't believe it. Yeah, I can. I can totally believe it.
Rod's preparing to play Roy Clark's Malaquina.
Oh, you guys just keep giving me more ideas.
And at the Hodag Festival, we have the last of the Erie Travels mugs going to be at the Hodag Festival.
I've got to get one of those.
We may have some left from Mothman wrapped in. We'll see.
Yeah, I've got to get one of those. I never remember, and it's only once a year that I see you. So,
I will remember and make sure you get one because unlike Mark, I am the brains of this operation.
Okay, that's good.
Octopus with no friends says Ninja Turtles. Which one's is your favorite?
Leonardo,
Mark.
Donatello, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd and I like to fight with a bow stick.
Well, definitely Leonardo for me.
Leonardo, Ron.
I don't care.
Don't care.
I don't care. You guys have just, the night show has been about, alcoholic Bigfoots and,
and we get the sexually transmitted curses. We've got a lot going on tonight.
Thanks, Erica. Exactly. There's just so much going on. And you're asking me about
the only thing we didn't bring back up, Erica, was our other Bigfoot incest. So that was the only thing we missed.
So,
this guy here is worth about $500.
Ooh.
There you go.
This is Octopus. This is my favorite, Michelangelo. Classic Eastman Laird red all the way.
That was Zay.
This is from the original NECA run back in 2008.
I kind of like Donatello, to be honest with you.
He's doing one of the big con.
I think I paid like $12 a pop for those.
Inchmond. Or no, Galaxy Con in Raleigh.
Yeah.
And
CJ's heading out. CJ, bless you. We'll see you out there in the wild and weird lands.
Michelangelo, he's the last Ronin. Yes. I've actually got that one up there.
Nice.
CJ, be careful out there, man. Good having you with us. Octopus says, "Oh, nice." Tommy says, "April O'Neil." Okay, I'll give you that one.
Now that's funny.
Wait, now original April O'Neil or redhead April O'Neil?
Redhead.
Donna says Donatello because my name is Donna. Fitting. Jen says Splinter. Okay, I can get behind that one too.
Yeah, Master Splinter.
Tom said she's my favorite character. This has been the most PG-13 wild and weird.
It has. They've stayed right on the border, Angie. That's just what they've done. They stayed right on the border.
My favorite Ninja Turtle
I'm not suitable for young children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erie Travels is not PG-13. So
no. Pat says redhead April every time. Tommy Swigger, redhead April.
Yep.
Ron Lanham, my favorite Ninja Turtle is Curly.
What?
Splinter fought. Yeah, Splinter did fight Batman. You're not wrong.
Yes. In the comic and in the movie. And it came out the same way both times. So
It did. Plus, Donatello smiles and more. And besides, I like purple. I dig it. Did
That's
you know
right.
that purple isn't even a real color? Purple is the absence of green, and our mind just makes purple up out of nothing. Like there's no thing, no rod or cone that perceives purple. It's just our brain is like, that's purple. Now you do.
That's interesting.
science is weird. We love it.
My favorite Ninja
It
Turtle
is.
is Mo, says Brandon.
No, we had an early episode where somebody wrote us that they had 3-toed Bigfoot around, and they were convinced it was a sign of Bigfoot incest. And so we mentioned it on the show, and then I immediately joked that was going to be the nickname for my 80s cover band would be Bigfoot Incest. And somebody, one of
Brother,
our
cousin
fans
Bigfoot.
sent in fan art of a band called Bigfoot Incest. And I
Oh,
posted it,
man.
and that got us kicked off Facebook for about 2 days. So
And
That'll
then
do
Mark was like, you know what the Facebook community would like? I should post this.
yeah, I'll send it again.
We need to get t-shirts made. It was sexually
LR.
transmitted curses.
Thank
and
you,
Bigfoot incest.
LR. We'll see you out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Tony says, I was just telling Angie about purple not being real and just our brains deciphering not green today. You're welcome, Tony. You and I share a brain. Think about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Think about how
Quantum
terrifying
entanglement.
that is, you know.
That's just
Quantum
terrifying.
entanglement.
No, it's terrifying.
But,
Wow.
so what
Yep.
we're hitting up here at the 2 hour mark in a little bit, but we still got some folks hanging out. You told us you're going to be at some events coming up soon. You've got your books coming out. Tell everybody else where they can catch you anytime soon and where to find your show.
Erica, go ahead.
So our podcast kind of broadcasts everywhere. If you look up Erie Travels, we do a show every Tuesday and Thursday. No, Tuesday and Friday. And my brain works. It's fine. And we do quite a bit of traveling. So we have also Smoky Mountain Terror that we're going to be at. We go to not only the cryptid conventions, but the horror movie conventions and stuff like that, mainly so we can see the Twilight Vampires, which will be at Smoky Mountain Terror, the entire reason Park is going. And so if you want to find us there, we also have a Discord, Erie Travels, which you can, all of our wonderful travelers can go to and just have conversations like this as well.
No,
Erie
Pat,
Travels.
it's not a book about my travels. It's
funny.
Erie Travels.
Erie Travels, folks. Erie Travels. That's
So you can
Travels,
check them out everywhere podcasts can be listened to invade your ear holes. So go on to YouTube Music, Amazon, Spotify, all those places. Just type in Erie Travels. You'll be able to find their podcast there. And you guys, you have a YouTube channel as well?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's got all of our episodes, but we also are putting up, short content and stuff on all the social medias. We have the TikTok and Instagram and all that other fun. We do YouTube Shorts now. I guess that's a new thing. I didn't know. I'm still learning all this fun stuff, but we're posting what books the ghost recommends. We're doing
That's a good idea.
that.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah,
Totally.
and we have our Discord where we have a lot of people who hang out and chat monsters and cryptids and ghosts and all the fun things. So
That is absolutely awesome. Continuing to spread the weird and to grow the family, so to speak. And that's what it's all about, man.
exactly, it's all about document and spread the lore.
Spreading the word. We're all on a mission. That's
There
right.
is a
Mark,
link
can
to the
you throw a
YouTube
link
in the
to
chat now.
Discord?
Go ahead and say that again,
There you
Erica.
go. Thank you.
Oh, can you throw a link to the Discord, Mark, into the chat?
Yeah, put that up there.
I can
one
probably
Joe
do
just
that.
put up.
I'll probably have to do it after we're done. So,
Well, no, they wanted it in the chat.
but
I
We
got
had,
the link to the
we-
YouTube in the chat. I don't know if we can do a Discord mass invite.
that's
It
good.
might
Just-
upset everything.
I don't
No,
think
it's
it'll let us because it's not letting me put up the eerietravels.com either. So if you go to eerietravels.com, it's got all the links. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
There we go.
eerietravels.com is probably the best way. So, and then
Yes.
it also has all of our appearances upcoming so far. It keeps the recent ones up on Facebook and all that. So
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Copy paste that into
There
your
you
search
go.
bars.
There it is.
Press enter, and it will make the magic happen, guys.
So we'll see you up in our neck of the woods. When exactly did you say, Mark? What's the next
We'll be at-
time?
you guys are going to miss Grafton, but we'll be up there for
Yep.
that.
You
And
will.
then we'll be up for Flatwoods
Okay.
in Sutton, and then
Yeah,
which is in
we'll be
September. And then I'll be doing something at Cicada Books in Huntington, and then Mothman the following weekend.
Okay.
And we should we'll be around up there at that time, so we might stop in some other things. We just haven't fully booked yet. I believe Trans-Allegheny has been
Yeah.
we're working with them. We might do an appearance there as
And
well.
Squonkapalooza,
and maybe even
which
Mountville.
is just north of West Virginia. Squonkapalooza in August.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we'll be up there for that too. And we'll be at Hodag Festival this next weekend.
So, guys, if you're out in the Midwest listening to us, go out and check out the Hodag Festival. Check out the Grafton Monster Festival. Check out, obviously, Mothman Festival and the
Obviously.
Woods Convention. You guys
You're
definitely
gonna-
want to keep eyes
Yeah.
on all of those. You'll be able to catch up with Mark at those. You'll see us at a couple of those.
Yeah.
And
You'll see us soon in a lot of things. Even
Yeah.
when you don't want to.
Uh,
But
Jackie asked if we're going to be at Spooky in October.
Jackie says, are you planning
No,
on coming to
but we will be
Spooky
at
in October?
Spookalla in
We're
October.
going to be at Spookalla in October.
We'll be at Spookalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is in Tampa, first weekend of October. That's actually our next. We'll be at Tampa Bay Comic Con too. Those are our next two Florida events.
That's such a fun one.
And Dragon Con. We're speaking at Dragon Con again this year. So,
That's
Dragon
Atlanta.
Con's always a trip, too.
yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
The conventions down that way are the only reason I miss living in the South.
There's a lot more because they don't have to close for winter. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Donna, we will see you next week as well. Definitely stay wild, weird, and wonderful, my friend. We will see you out there.
Dragon D's. Dragon D's? Dragon D's what, Pat?
Sometimes I just don't know what's happening.
I think that's for the best.
And it's gotten me this far, Mark. It really has.
Yep.
Anita says, I miss the big SF cons we used to have. Star.
There's still some big ones out there.
Here we go.
So the Zinner card time. It's Zinner card time. Bigfoot, Littlefoot guessed square earlier.
All right. Let's get these things.
Find the
rolling.
trackway.
We're doing
On the trackway. These nuts.
Ah,
yeah.
wow. I see what you guys
All
are
right.
doing.
So are you doing an Esper card? Are you pulling out
Zinner cards.
a card and we got a guess?
Well,
Yep, you gotta guess
first
the
one.
card. What's coming? Good riddance, guest primates. Do not support or follow the guests of this misinformation platform.
first one we're going to do is a bit of a control, and that's going to be
Andrew just said, "Oh, PG-13."
the one where everyone just kind of guesses, and I'm not going to look at it. So
Okay.
So
We
far
are
we've got
ready to
square,
roll.
star. I got everybody in the comments saying nuts that I have to scroll through. That is, thank you, Pat. Thank you for that. That was, I love it.
I'm
Square,
going for
bacon,
I'm
bacon.
going for wavy
Let's don't
line.
get us flagged.
Square. Nah, trust me. If they can swing F bombs after the first 7 minutes on Rogan and still get paid,
True.
it's that 7 minute mark. You got to stay clean up to 7 minutes, and then after that, it's Katie bar the door. So bacon star, bacon square, bacon in a square pan, bacon circles plus square bacon, pentagram says Brandon.
Brandon's a demon. He always says that.
Bacon, square, circle. We've got a lot of guesses in. Anybody else? Anybody else?
It's a lot of guesses tonight.
A lot of
All right.
bacons and squares so far.
Are we ready out there, folks?
Final guesses in 5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, star. Okay, we got one more in.
Ready?
Anybody else?
And
Go for it.
square.
Square.
I
So
remember a bunch of those.
Bigfoot, Littlefoot, you guessed that, I don't know, an hour and a half ago. So Bigfoot, Littlefoot got it. We got Anita Allen got it. Nancy White got it.
Not bad for your first. This is a good score for you guys on the pre.
Those 3. We got 3 out the gate.
Okay, so we're going to try the telepathy one this time. This is the more
Jen got it
fun
as well,
one.
so 4.
In my opinion, this is the one that we have a little bit more fun on. So we're going to do exactly what we do every week. Everyone remember your training. I want you to start counting backwards from 10 to 1. And as you go backwards, I want you to calm yourself down. Tell yourself every single number that when you reach 0, you will know what the card is.
So Anita says, I had a bacon cheeseburger, so bacon circle. Tell me you didn't eat at Buzz or Wendy's.
So
Without telling me you didn't eat a Buzz buttered steak or Wendy's.
we are ready to begin.
All right, guys, get those guesses rolling in.
Nope, don't guess anything.
Oh, no
yet.
guesses. No guesses. I forgot. Yeah, this
No
is
guesses.
the
No
he
guesses.
says a number
I'm
and
going
you
to
say
look.
to go.
Yeah, I'm going to look at this, so don't guess. Devoid your mind at this point. When I look at this card, we will begin the countdown from 10, 9, 8, so forth. Every number, tell yourself, I will know that card. I will know that card when it hits 0. Okay, here we go. And I am now looking at the card, and I am now projecting the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You know the card. Type it.
Send them in. Circle plus star plus square. Star plus star square. Bacon. Anybody else?
Is that it? Everyone good?
It's just about I think we're missing 1 or 2. We'll give them a second to get it in. Because sometimes the chat lags a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Or are we good to go? Oh, there we go. Anybody else?
Okay, here we go.
Ampersand.
All right, here we go then.
Let's
And
do
as
it.
I said, when you went to 0, you will know the card. And the very first people, when I went 0,
What?
knew the
1,
card.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 got it that time.
Good job, guys. Good job.
And Jackie, that's how I draw.
And folks, what you just witnessed was basically what you're going to witness if you manage to come down to the paranormal discussion group at the last, when is it? It's the last Wednesday of this month when I will be talking about out-of-body experiences and remote viewing. And you're going to learn a little bit about what we just did there, which is a form of remote viewing, believe it or not. And every single person can do it. There's nothing magical about it. There's nothing mystical about it. There's nothing evil or demonic about it. It is a natural part of you. Thank you. It'll be May 29th is when I will be there. And we will be learning about some things such as associative remote viewing, which is what you've just witnessed. You do it every day. When you lose something and you can't find it and you get that flash in your head, that's associative remote viewing. And there's
Mine's usually the toilet paper.
Probably.
And I realize that it's not in the bathroom because one of my munchkins has taken it from said bathroom.
Yeah. Well, you need a powerful reason to discern it, and I'll bet you find it. 404 4th Avenue, St. Albans is where I will be, where we will all be, at least a lot of us. And it's going to be a good time.
Nice.
Starts at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it starts at 6 p.m. Sorry, guys. I'm not good at promoting myself. I'm
You're
terrible at
remote
promoting
viewing this
myself.
broadcast from orbit, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I gotta know if
might
Man in
stop.
Black knows X. They gotta be friends.
We
So-
may.
They know
X is
all. They're
they
like
listen to our
tapped into
listener
everything.
episodes.
They know all, see all.
They're probably best friends.
Allegedly.
So, although X says he's not a Man in Black, so
Yeah.
we don't know.
That's true. I was going to say they're probably not best friends.
Now, these X's and imposters.
Oh, those are fighting words, my friend. Fighting words.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not going to get in the middle of that.
oh,
Man in Black, I hate to tell you, but I heard X is going to give it to you.
I'm out. I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
X gonna give it to you. What? So
Yep.
speaking of X's,
Oh,
Mark and Erica, have you guys been watching X97?
No.
X-Men 97 on Disney Plus? Oh my god.
No.
It's the
Oh yes, I have. Yes,
yeah.
I haven't watched today.
So good.
For yesterday.
Anyway, completely
up-
side railed.
I'm up to.
It's
Yeah.
such a
Oh,
good
no,
show.
give
If
me,
you guys haven't been watching on Disney.
Yeah,
I have not seen it
that's been
yet.
gold. And even my boy Captain America made a cameo, so I'm good with
Yes.
that. So
Yes. Yeah, the Cap is one of my favorites. My wife got me back
that was epic.
our first anniversary. She got me the 75th anniversary metal shield,
Ooh.
and it's hanging up in my son's room right now. But yeah, that thing's
there you go.
amazing.
Yep.
But X is hated on many worlds.
It's epic. Oh,
What about on Planet X?
that doesn't surprise me.
Mark, be nice.
I don't know.
Pat says critical error has occurred.
X has
Reptilian
got-
brain has to reboot.
Yeah.
Terry McCullough says I'm calling it a night.
I'm afraid
while
that's
I'm
mine
still
too,
psychic.
guys.
Good night, all.
My epileptic brain is
Thank you, Terry.
shutting down for the night. So.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. We'll see you out there somewhere.
Mark,
I don't know
Erica,
much
thanks for
where
coming
that's
out and
at.
hanging out tonight.
Guys, you did a wonderful job.
It's been fun. You guys were great to have on. You're welcome back anytime you want to come on.
Oh yeah.
I would love that. We'd absolutely love that. This has
Yep.
been
And
incredibly
we-
fun.
You guys are going to be recording with us soon, and
That's
I
correct.
cannot wait because we'll have that episode that'll air in a few weeks. So we record ahead, so you guys won't be able to chat live, but you'll have to tune in and listen and see what we talk about. So, and then they'll give you spoilers next week, but it won't
Nah,
be
we'll
quite
save
the
it.
same as listening.
We'll make
to
them
it.
wait.
Yeah,
We're good at
just-
keeping secrets.
We're very good at keeping secrets. See you soon.
So, guys,
Anyway, thank you so much
y'all
for
have been
being here, for real,
awesome.
Mark.
Remember, as always,
Erica.
you can catch us next week in
Honestly,
person at the workshop.
our
Everybody who's
pleasure.
purchased their ticket to come, make it out to the workshop. If you are unable to make it to the workshop, remember every single week right here, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, we go live. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your dogs, cats, ghost cats, squirrels,
Owls.
Savannah monitors, whatever.
Owls. Bring owls.
Bring owls. Yeah, bring your owls. Of
I'll
course.
bring my owls. I have an owl. Where's my owl? Oh, well. It's
So,
behind
guys,
the green screen.
you all are so cool. We appreciate every one of you guys for keeping it free for eons and eons to come. You guys are amazing. And remember, before you leave, to also hit that share and subscribe button if you haven't. I know we've got a lot of people that watch this show in and out, and you're popping, coming in and going. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, and you just the like. It's a small little act from your end. It really helps us out in a great.
Yeah, absolutely. We need that. So please do.
So, guys,
And I'm gonna play
if
us out.
you are wanting to catch us on the road,
And
we're going
any
to
of
be
our
at Whitfield
travelers-
UFO.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Any of our travelers, like and subscribe to these guys. They're amazing.
we've got the workshop coming up. We've got Whitfield UFO on the heels of that. You're going to be able to catch us in a couple places over the summer. We're speaking at a county fair, which is going to be a ball. We'll be at the Braxton County Fair in August. And between now and then, if you see us, like some people have been catching me here recently out and about at the stores, don't be bashful. Don't think you can't grab a hold of us. We are very personable. We'll talk to you. We'll say hi to you. We love that kind of stuff. It's great when somebody says, "Hey, I recognize you from this XYZ." Well, we love it. It's awesome.
If I have my
And,
ukulele, I'll play for you, but I won't have it.
So, guys, Mark, Erica, thanks for coming out. And remember, purple isn't a real color.
Oh, geez.
Try to figure that out.
Are you
Maybe-
serious?
God knows
Purple?
I can't.
I can't wrap my mind around that. So you guys are just going to have
Well,
to
and
just
remember,
believe that.
leave some moonshine in some jugs
Oh, yeah.
and some gems, and
You might not get a gift from Bigfoot, but you might get a gift from me. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
It could happen. I don't know anymore.